Alright everybody, it seems the mainstream media isn't going to tell us the truth anymore, so it's up to citizens like us to combat their propaganda. Here we go!
So let me be as honest and clear as I possibly can. Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot be who we need him to be for us.
In other words, he's not a puppet of the deep state, and that's why they hate him.
It is what it is. Now, I understand that my message won't be heard by some people.
You'd be surprised.
We live in a nation that is deeply divided, and I am a black woman.
That's racist.
At the Democratic Convention. But enough of you know me by now. You know that I tell you exactly what I'm feeling. You know I hate politics.
Whoa, catchphrase! Ding, 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 ding.
About this nation. You know how much I care about all of our children.
Yeah, sure you do.
So if you take one thing from my words tonight, it is this. If you think things cannot possibly get worse, trust me, they can. And they will if we don't make a change in this election. If we have any hope of ending this chaos, we have got to vote for Joe Biden like our lives depend on it.
I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like a threat. They have ran us through the ringer with their BS ever since he won the last election. And she's basically telling us right now, if we vote for him again, they're going to throw an even bigger fit. Maybe we'll get 7 impeachments. And if my life depended on voting for Joe Biden, I'm telling you right now, I'd rather lick a toilet seat full of CV-19 than do any of that nonsense.
I know Joe. He is a profoundly decent man, guided by faith.
God would never lead you to live your life the way Joe Biden lives his. Trust me.
He was a terrific vice president. He knows what it takes to rescue an economy, beat back a pandemic, and lead our country. And he listens.
I guess when you can't form complete sentences, listening's all you got left, huh?
He will tell the truth and trust science. He will make smart plans and manage a good team.
Nobody
and
believes
he will govern
that.
as someone who's lived a life that the rest of us can recognize.
Oh, she's laughing
When
too.
he was a kid, Joe's father lost his job. When he was a young senator, Joe lost his wife and his baby daughter. And when he was vice president, he lost his beloved son. So Joe knows the anguish of sitting at a table with an empty chair, which is why he gives his time so freely to grieving parents.
This is called emotional pandering. Both Republicans and Democrats do this. Sadly, it works very well, but the reality of it is, none of this has to do with being the President of the United States.
Joe knows what it's like to struggle, which is why he gives his personal phone number to kids overcoming a stutter of their own.
What? He does what? Oh my God. These people must not be self-aware, because there is no reality where they don't know what we know about how Joe can't keep his hands off of kids. What a ridiculous thing for her to say on a teleprompter. These people are insane.
His life is a testament to getting back up. And he is going to channel that same grit and passion to pick us all up, to help us heal and guide us forward. Now, Joe is not perfect, and he'd be the first to tell you that.
Joe's not the first to do anything.
But there is no perfect candidate, no perfect president, and his ability to learn and grow, we find in that the kind of humility and maturity that so many of us yearn for right now.
How much more growing could this guy possibly do? He's got one foot in a grave every single day. Ugh.
Because Joe Biden has served this nation his entire life without ever losing sight of who he is. But more than that, he has never lost sight of who we are. All of us. Joe Biden wants all of our kids to go to a good school, see a doctor when they're sick, live on a healthy planet. And he's got plans to make all of that happen.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he
Joe
does.
Biden wants all of our kids, no matter what they look like, to be able to walk out the door without worrying about being harassed or arrested or killed.
What about sexually
He
harassed?
wants all of our kids to be able to go to a movie or a math class without being afraid of getting shot. He wants all our kids to grow up with leaders who won't just serve themselves and their wealthy peers, but will provide a safety net for people facing hard times.
You guys want to hear more about Joe Biden's plans for the youth? Here he is in 1994.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. Unless...
Ladies and gentlemen, that's who Joseph R. Biden really is.
And if we want a chance to pursue any of these goals, any of these most basic requirements for a functioning society, we have to vote for Joe Biden in numbers that cannot be ignored.
Good luck.
Because right now, folks who know they cannot win fair and square at the ballot box are doing everything they can to stop us from voting. They're closing down polling places in minority neighborhoods. They're purging voter rolls. They're sending people out to intimidate voters, and they're lying about the security of our ballots.
They're not lying. You request an absentee ballot. That is not the same as mailing millions of them to voters who didn't ask for them.
These tactics are not new. But this is not the time to withhold our votes in protest or play games with candidates who have no chance of winning.
In other words, don't waste your time voting for Biden.
We have got to vote like we did in 2008 and 2012. We've got to show up with the same level of passion and hope for Joe Biden. We've got to vote early, in person if we can. We've got to request our mail-in ballots right now, tonight, and send them back immediately.
She's begging you to do this because she and every other big-name Democrat knows after Joe Biden gives his acceptance speech on Thursday night, it's all downhill from there.
And follow up to make sure they're received, and then make sure our friends and families do the same. We have got to grab our comfortable shoes, put on our masks, pack a brown bag dinner, and maybe breakfast too, because we've got to be willing to stand in line all night if we have to. Look, we have already sacrificed so much this year. So many of you are already going that extra mile.
Because of state government tyranny.
Even when you're exhausted, you're mustering up unimaginable courage to put on those scrubs and give our loved ones a fighting chance.
God bless them.
Even when you're anxious, you're delivering those packages, stocking those shelves, and doing all that essential work so that all of us can keep moving forward.
In other words, so that us rich people can stay in our houses while you servants provide us with the goods we need.
Even when it all feels so overwhelming, working parents are somehow piecing it all together without childcare. Teachers are getting creative so that our kids can still learn and grow. Our young people are desperately fighting to pursue their dreams.
Desperate because the government has put up every single possible obstacle to stop them from reaching the American dream.
And when the horrors of systemic racism shook our country and our consciences, millions of Americans of every age, every background rose up to march for each other, crying out for justice and progress.
No, they smashed in store windows, looted, burned, attacked the police. I mean, that's what I saw.
This is who we still are.
A bunch of predators? I guess that's what Joe Biden called you.
Compassionate, resilient, decent people whose fortunes are bound up with one another. And it is well past time for our leaders to once again reflect our truth. So, it is up to us.
We believe truth over facts. I remember when Biden said that too.
To add our voices and our votes to the chorus of history, echoing heroes like John Lewis, who said, "When you see something that is not right, you must say something. You must do something." That is the truest form of empathy.
John Lewis was not a hero. John Lewis represented Baltimore for decades. He secured millions of dollars for that district, and as the money went missing, the city kept crumbling. He, like Biden, like the Obamas, are thieves.
Not just feeling, but doing. Not just for ourselves or our kids, but for everyone. For all our kids. And if we want to keep the possibility of progress alive in our time, if we want to be able to look our children in the eye after this election, we have got to reassert our place in American history.
It's almost as if she doesn't realize at least 70 million adults are going to look their loved ones in the eyes after November and tell them they did the right thing by re-electing Donald Trump and stopping these treasonous terrorists from taking power of our governor.
And we have got to do everything we can to elect my friend Joe Biden as the next president of the United States. Thank you all. God bless.